I'm actually going to wait a couple more minutes. We have students still adding, joining the class. So, well, good afternoon, guys. We're at on the last day of the class. It's been a long semester. Um, um, Couple things I would recommend. Just let's do a quick. If you're online and if you're taking the December 9th test, do a thumbs up, please. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Quite a bit. Here, how many taking December 9th? All of you. Well, almost 20, 25 right here are taking the December 9th test. There are several things I can talk about, but one thing is it is extremely important to be back home on Friday, the December 8th, from school, sports. If there's anything you can skip that evening, it's better for you guys. Be home early and do not study that day. Okay? That's not the day to study. That's the, if you want to go through review the formulas, if you have any um, cards you have made, note cards, formulas, yeah. No time test, no intense 2 3 hour studying. No. Have supper early, go to your room, listen to music, put the damn phone away. Snapchats, texting, these are things you want to be away because you want to be your mind to be as relaxed as possible. I'm not saying that if, by doing that you're going to get a 36. No, but it can definitely make a difference of 1 to 2 points. A relaxed mind is extremely important. And this is a, I don't know what people tell you guys. Again, I've done this for 17 years, 16 years now. I, uh, I can tell you this, this is the most important exam of your life, at least for your high school life, because it may not hurt you, but it will definitely help you. And it will definitely hurt you if you don't get a good score and scholarship starts to tank. So, and if you're looking into competitive schools, the top 25, the Harvards, the Stanfords, this is just the beginning. If a good score is just a beginning. If you're applying for a local school, a good score will almost guarantee a solid scholarships. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are your main studying days, and you gotta put your full-on practice and practice for this. One thing I would not do, I know some of you might have to, but majority may not have to take a full test, like the one we did yesterday here, right? You may want to do English today, math tomorrow, reading, no, individual test, but make sure you grade your test and work on the mistakes. Taking a test is 50%. Correcting your mistakes is the real important step. Many do not do the right way. They're like, oh, I made a mistake. This is the answer. Oh, okay. And you're done. That's not the intention. The intention is to really dig in. Okay? So if you take a math, which is 60 minutes test, you grade it, take a 15 minutes break, come back, and okay, I made 8 mistakes. I'm gonna go in all in. And if you feel like I've guessed on something and you got it correct, dig in so that you don't want to make those mistakes. Fair enough? Um, Next thing is, do you have any? Oh, Ria, you have a question? I was about to ask if you have any question.
Yeah, just like, would you not recommend taking like a full length practice test, like separate English ones and math and reading, like that?
Yeah, see, you have school every day, most likely, and there is something called test fatigue. So you do not want to take a full 4 hour test, let's say Tuesday evening. The fatigue stays with you, and then you'll not have time to grade your test, correct your mistakes. But I would distribute it as today evening I would just take, let's say, a science test. Tomorrow I would do an English test. But that's what I would do. That's why we always have a practice test the Saturday before. That is, a lot of you guys came here yesterday and took the full 4 hour test, and that's 1 week of break you need. So when students take MCAT, which is a 7.5 hours exam, we don't ask them to take MCAT practice test after 15 days before. That's it. That fatigue stays with you. You may not realize it. In your subconscious mind, it stays with you. But Friday is very, very important. And I just cannot emphasize enough the significance of taking the Friday easy. And I know some of you are joining late to this class. When I post this video, watch the from the beginning, the 6 minutes we already had. This is an important conversation. You guys might want to hear it here. Okay. Anything else you guys want to ask? This is your last day. Of course, you can always ask questions. Text me anytime. You're my students. You're students forever. But this is a good day to ask if you have any questions to ask about strictly the December 9th ACT test.
Would you recommend like reviewing anything the day of the test, like before we reach the center?
Absolutely not. On December 9th, okay, so my son is now, who has been in this class, he's also taking the test December 9th. It is his first test. This is what I've told him, and this is what he has been practicing. So I'm going to tell you the secret sauce if you want it, because that's what I would want to.
Make it do. It's, hey, I'm rather crazy with this.
Could all students to mute, please? Okay, thank you. So this is what I've told him, and this is what I think.
Turn it off.
Okay, hold on. I think I need to- All right, thank you. So the plan is, I've asked him to get up at 5 or 5:15. Okay, brush, a cup of tea, a glass of milk, whatever he wants. Then I've asked him to work out for 30 minutes. Okay, I've asked him to do some stretching, and I want him to run on the treadmill. Okay, half an hour, maybe around 6:15. Take a shower. We have planned for breakfast for him. All the documents on the previous nights are already. I'm actually working with him already on the documents because he doesn't have a driving license, so you have a passport ready and everything. And by 7 o'clock, I'm driving him to the center. Be there by 7:15, 7:20, 7:30 latest. You need to be there. Test starts at 8. You need to know where the restroom is, okay, and where your room is, and all those things. So we have been practicing every Saturday this, just to get the mindset. He knows exactly what I want him to wear because it can be cold, it can be hot, everything can happen, right? Again, this doesn't get you a 36. This gets you the calmness you need. You guys with me? The calmness. Because you need to have everything ready. Might as well get it done a week before. So we are creating a Ziploc and have everything there. The passport, 2 calculators, and I'll be sending a list of things you guys need to do. It's a long list. I take these things seriously. I expect my students to take this seriously. So when I did my engineering, every semester we had 5 semester exams. Okay? That was in India, that was how it was. And every test, every exam was 3 hours. And your entire class grade was that exam. Nothing else. Like there was a little homework in there, but it was like 5%, 10%. The rest, 90%, was a semester exam. So I did the same exact thing. Even my breakfast my mom made was the same thing. And I did it for 8 semesters. I should commute from a college to home. The reason is not about the reason, I'm not saying that this will give a good score. This will give you already are stressed enough, right? Don't tell me you'll not be stressed. If you're not stressed, you can expect what I'm thinking. You got to be prepared. I cannot, one of the biggest things I've seen over the 15 years, 16 years I've done this is very, very few people are as prepared as I expect them to be. I had a student, very close friend of mine. His son got a 35 eventually. Okay, smart kid. But the first time he took the ACT, he was printing the admissions ticket that morning, half an hour before he was leaving. And guess what happened? Printer didn't work. He couldn't go to the test. He couldn't go to the test. They called me at 7 in the morning, and we tried to print because it didn't transfer it. He didn't show it to the test. He lost it. He's like, it happens. Well, it happens to the one who is unprepared. Right? You can always give reasons. I just don't believe in reasons. Everything needs to be ready. And you got to be supremely ready. It doesn't matter whether you're taking the first time or the third time. It doesn't matter. You got to put the best foot forward every single time. Yeah, you'll be getting that list today. And we'll tell you what we recommend to eat. It's a long list. It's a recommendations. We have been doing this for 15 years. Does everybody follow? No. I would say 3 and 4 follow. 75% of our students follow. Because a lot of our parents and students are pretty serious about what they want to achieve a good score. So there is an intrinsic motivation from the students and parents as well. And I'm, as you guys know me well, but that I'm pretty damn serious. So, anything else?
I have a small question.
Please.
So for like the next couple of days, what do you think the best method of preparation is? Like, you just think we should do practice tests?
For reading and science is definitely a practice test. So for example, if I were to be Kirti today, so today will be done maybe around 5 Central, maybe 5:15ish. I would go, let's say maybe have supper at 6, 7 o'clock, let's say. 7 to 9, I would do 2 tests today. That's what I would do. One is going to be a reading test. One is going to be a science test, like reading science, that combination. I'll do reading science. And then after the science is done, I'm going to grade reading and science, and I stop there. Tomorrow, I work on the mistakes, right? Work on reading and science mistake. Then I'm going to do 60 minutes math test. Then work on the mistakes. So we are done with reading science, tomorrow math. All the corrections are done. Tuesday, I would do English and math. And then next day, I would do corrections. What I also would like you to do is for math, you need to know formulas. And I would write the formulas, not read the formulas. You have the math booklet, right? Just don't sit in front of it. Just write it. So for example, hey, what is the area formula to find the area of a quadrilateral general formula? Let's see. Anybody want to take a stab at it? Don't cheat. It's on page 2 of the math packet. Diagonal 1 times diagonal 2 divided by 2. And if it's a square or rectangle, the diagonals are congruent. It's d squared divided by 2. If you don't know this formula, it doesn't matter how smart you are, right? It doesn't matter how smart you are, you will not get it unless you just pick a lucky one. So what I have seen, over 6,000 students I had I'm blessed to have taught in New Horizon, many don't know the formulas. And I can quiz you right now like this, and I can tell you 50% will not get 50% of them correct. Why? Not that you guys are not smart, it's that you have not had an intentional effort on it. Am I being true? You have to write formulas, not read study formulas, write. So for example, on page 9 of the math packet, there's a formula called sum of roots and product of roots for quadratic equation. Okay? If you don't know, sum of roots, which is minus b divided by a, and product of roots c divided by a, You can't do a lot of problems on quadratic equations where if the constant is a variable. That's what I would do. Write the formulas. And you'll be amazed. That habit becomes go to school, then it goes to college, and you'll start making a huge impact on yourself. And I know you guys are busy. Don't think I don't know. I'm a college president too. Trust me, I know that. But this is important. That's why I wanted to kind of spend time on this. Have that urge. Have that urge that I need this for myself, not for anybody else. But Friday, complete rest. Boy, I can't tell you the importance of that. I would say you should be in bed by 8, go to sleep by 9. And by 5 you should be like 8 hours solid good sleep. Boy, that makes a difference. And then do a quick run, stretch. Marvelous. It's marvelous. That mindset is amazing. And for MCAT students, we actually give them a workout drill. So just what to do so that you're mentally, so they have 2 months before their exam, every Saturday they have to do the same thing they would do the real Saturday. Your body cannot adjust for 7.5 hours exam. You go at 8, you come back at 5. You have lunch break, breakfast break. So if you don't know how to stay focused for that long of a time, you will give up. Not that you're not smart. Your body will give up. Make sense? Anything else?
I know you kind of touched on this before, but how would you recommend filling in the bubbles?
Can I know who it is? So I'm. Who's
Oh,
this?
this is Neha.
Oh, Neha. Well, it's funny. People have texted me about this question. Nobody has asked me in the class. So this is a great question. So listen to this very carefully. And again, we don't universally strategize this one because everybody's different. But this is what I would do. Start with English. There are 5 passages, 75 questions, right? I would answer all the 15 questions in the test, circle the answers, step out for that passage, match the question numbers, and then bubble for that passage. Then go to the next one, do the same thing. But for the 5th one, which is the last one, due to the possible thing that you may run out of time, for 5th one only, I would answer directly in the bubble. Why? Everything has a reason. So when you answer a question and you bubble each time like this, every time there is a drop, minute, microscopic drop of concentration. You with me on this? And why is the other strategy much better? After 15 questions, you need a little break of focus so that you can focus again. 30, 40 seconds, you're back again. Math, we did 10 at a time. But last 10, directly bubble in because you may lose time. Reading per passage, just like English. Science, just like English per passage. But the last passage, directly bubble in the answers. Another advantage with this, let's say you have skipped a question, you'll not make the mistake of missing that if you go one in that order all the time. So what I have always done is I've randomly asked my students, for the students who have taken the April and the December test, hey, you can get your test ordered, but give it to me. I'll pay for the $20. They're like, why? I said, I want to see what it looks like. Many of them are like, it looks kind of clean. It's like your test paper should tell me how what you write should tell me what you're thinking, right? If it's all clean, you really didn't have the energy in it. You see what I'm saying? Like for the graphs, you draw lines. There was nothing. So one of the students who got a 35, you could see everything was there, and I can see exactly that student did well because he had all these things written down. Even in English, I could see the thought process underlining the key words. And we had a system, with that student had a system. Star means guessing. We had guessed for that student, I remember. So he had 3 guesses. He came on the last one and he got all 3 wrong. But it was clear that he didn't know about those. You see what I'm saying? So that clarity is so important. So, Neha, does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you.
Very important. But last passage and last 10 in math, do not wait. Directly bubble in. Remember his watch beeped yesterday? Of course. In the real test, he would have been disqualified. Of course, I want you to be careful. Yes.
Question about watches.
No smart watches.
If you use one that like beeps when you start it, when you stop it,
And that's not allowed.
that's not allowed.
Otherwise, I would have actually, for the first 2 years of New Horizon, as part of the ACT, you get the blue pack bags with all the books. We had a stopwatch. We used to buy you a stopwatch. Found out 2 years later that it was beeping at the end, not at the start. And not that nobody got disqualified, but I just didn't want to take any chance. But nobody had told me that it was beeping, so. These are excellent questions. Please ask more questions. Writing will take me 30 minutes, this ACT writing portion. I'm here to answer these questions. Yeah.
I have a question.
Please.
So on the so for like practicing for English, would you recommend basically going over like grammar and punctuation rules and doing a practice test for this week?
Yes, absolutely. English rules. So if you want to review the rules and then take the test, that's fine. Totally fine. But make sure you take at least few minutes break before you start the test. Okay? When you're taking the test, you have to have the complete intent of putting your best foot forward and learning from it. It should not be a facade where, Manoj just told me to take a section test. Formalities, don't do formalities. These habits will transfer to college. You with me on this? Nobody's going to be there to tell you in college. Nobody. You have to have the habits now. I'm so happy you guys are asking this question. Last time, there's only one question on the last day. Again, this is not going to make a difference between a 30 and a 36, but this might make a difference between a 30 and a 31 or a 32. Small preparations. Everything should be ready by Friday. And I really hope you guys don't drive. I hope somebody's going to drop you off at the testing center. And do not turn your phones on. I have so many examples to give you why you guys should be away from the phone. And let me tell you what can happen if your phone is on for any reason and it beeps and you have in your bag and the phone starts ringing, you'll be disqualified. Yeah.
Do you even recommend bringing it in?
What's that?
Do you even recommend bringing it in?
I'll tell you why we recommend to bring the phone in case of any emergencies. But when you go to the testing center or even before that actually, just completely shut it off. Okay? No silent mode, nothing. Just turn it off. I'll tell you an example. I didn't want to go there, but now you have asked that question. So remember, I tell this, right? Every single day, every time I tell not to use the phone. So we had a student who was going to East High in Sioux City, was driving to East High to take the test. And that was really bad of the parent. So it seems that morning around 6:30, her grandma had passed away. And mom texted her, hey, just found out that the grandma had passed away. First of all, why would you want to tell your daughter who's taking the test? It was not her last time, so it was good. But she freaked out. And she bombed the test. And it was her fault as well that she had the phone on. Will it happen for everybody? No. It is an unfortunate situation, but I can tell you what I'm going to do. So Friday evening, I'm going to ask my son to turn his phone off, and he will not turn it on till he's done with the test. There's no reason for him to have the phone on. It is no, he's my first son taking the test for the first time. All my preparations I've done for the years, I should at least teach him the lessons. And I'm driving him that day in the morning because it is how it should be.
Do you have any tips to stay focused throughout the test? I found myself getting distracted towards the end.
One of the best strategies I've always taught is to full practice test. Okay, and second time you may not see it. By the third or fourth time, and of course now with 5 days, that's not a great strategy. But I'm talking about in general. That really starts try to help you know how to feel about it, how to deal with it. Going back to your question on strategies, yesterday when students took the test here, how many who were here yesterday? Who took the test? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, and some are online as well. I saw after you guys got them 15 minutes break, you went to restroom and you guys were eating, but you guys were also talking with each other, right? Right? Hey, how did this test go? What happened with this question? Avoid it. Your mind is a funny thing. What you talk is the one thing you remember and it comes at the top. So I had what I called a hoodie logic. I had a hood on, and I didn't talk to anybody in engineering. My friends they used to make fun of me. Till today, they make fun of me. What's the big deal? It's just that how I had prepared. Break time is restroom, eat, drink, and back at the place. Your job is not to talk about the previous test that is beyond your control. Oh, by the way, I just want to warn you, you cannot go back and change any of the answers anytime. One of our students got disqualified in 2022. He didn't answer number 60 in math. So he had 10 minutes break and he was like, oh, okay, I'll finish it off. He didn't read the question and worked on it, but he just bubbled in back. That's not allowed. You guys with me? And the other thing, that's the one thing Neha, I think it was Neha who asked the question. Other thing is stay on that question. Not the previous one, not the next one. Okay? And this is so funny you're asking this question. So I'm teaching my son all these techniques. One of the other I told him to breathe 5 times before the start of the test, deep breathing, just to vent it out. And this is gonna be a big help in MCAT because they have multiple sections. They have to stay focused. Breathing helps. That's what all I did. And these things will never change. Whether you're my generation, your generation, or 10 generation, the basics of education will never change. Just you have to have your mind relaxed. The end result is mind has to be relaxed. And there are different ways, people. Worst thing is phone. Second is talking to others. Your break time is not to talk to others. Your break time is to get hydrated. And you'll see in the list what we recommend. We recommend chocolate bars, orange juice, banana. And there's a reason for that too, why we selected that. So we did contact some of the Harvard students, Harvard medicals, we did research. This has been done 15 years back. And it took us 2-3 years to come up with that list. We also tell students to take earbuds. And I'll tell you what happened. Do you guys remember this kid I was just talking who didn't have the admission ticket printed? The next time he took the test, it was at North High School in Sioux City. And guess what happened? It was in summertime he took the test, and there was construction going on the terrace. And it kept hitting, and he just couldn't focus. He left the test. He just walked away after the math. He's like, I can't even focus. And it was pretty bad, I heard. So we included earplugs as an additional thing. We always tell you to take a mask even though it's mask is not mandated anymore, just to have it just in case. Pencils. You don't have time to sharpen the pencils. 7 to 8 pencils have to be ready. Do you guys remember we gave you a eraser on the first day in the packet? Do you guys have it? High polymer. Why high polymer? That's the one we have tested and we did 6 trials and we found out that has a clear, because it scans, right? It's a machine scan. If it doesn't erase well, you can't do anything about it. So all these things are ready. High polymer is a good one. This really is a good one. You guys have it, right? The white color one? Okay. Anything else?
I just had a question about the science test. Do you have any way to find the trends on the graphs a little bit easier? Because I often find myself looking at the graphs for like 1 to 2 minutes trying to figure out what it's trying to say. So
Kind of tough one, but I can tell you what I do. I am very careful about the dots, the dotted lines, the square box inside, the circles, You see what I'm talking about? If you're not focused, you'll miss those. I'll tell you, let me draw it so you can see. So let's say one graph is like these dots here. The other one is line with like this. Another one is like a line like this, but with a square box. Under the stress, you may not see the difference between them. Okay? So when they're asking for the dotted line, I usually circle this so I know what to keep focusing on. Okay? The other things I think we talked in the science is to focus on the y-axis, x-axis units, labels. But other than that, Kirti, I would say I don't know anything else I can suggest other than practice. And also, hopefully the test area you're taking is properly illuminated. Especially for science, it's very bad sometimes. So I've told this to ACT's tests that sometimes the numbers are so small, it's hard to see. So if you're reading contacts or glasses, definitely have glasses on so you can. But yeah, I had some of them can be very, very small. Yeah.
So do you recommend glasses or contacts when you're taking this?
Whatever it is people are comfortable with, but I had students prefer glasses, but whatever they prefer, I don't have it. So, but I would definitely recommend something you're comfortable with. But yeah, science, it's hard. Your question is hard to answer for me. It's how quickly. One of the best ways is to practice those.
okay.
What I did was passage testing. What I mean by passage testing is, so there are 6 passages, right? Right? We know that. So what we do is, instead of giving 35 minutes for 40 questions, I'm going to say, I want passage 2 to be done in 4 minutes. It's called passage testing. So I did quite a bit when I was a kid. Passage testing. So you put yourself in different scenarios. The other thing is, which I'm going to recommend to you guys, is called stress testing. So when you come from school, you're probably the most tired. Am I right? Usually. So what we, at least for my son, I'm going to do eventually after the first test is, I'm going to give him a test after he comes from school. No snack, nothing. Hey, I want you to take a practice test. A science test. Will he like it? No. Will he do well? Most likely no. But he'll start adapting to it. Okay? So, have you heard Boston Marathon runners? Usually the winners are from Africa, like Ethiopia, Somalian. Why they're able to do it? Because even when they're kids, they're able to run a lot to get the food they want with bare stomach. So their body starts to adapting to these things. So that's why they're able to run for long marathons, because they're used to it. Their body gets structured into it, and their mind starts to adapt to it. It's all about mind or body. But I'm so happy you guys are asking fantastic questions. It really are good questions. I can wrap this discussion with one thing, which nobody can control except you, is the intent. You have to have the intent to work for this. You should want this, nobody else. If you have the intent, you'll do it. If you don't have the intent, you may fake it for yourself, but your subconscious mind it'll catch it. If you want it, your body will act accordingly. I'm going to take one more question, final question. Okay. Now, if you're online, I would like all of you to have your cameras turned on, please, if you can. Just for a couple minutes. Because I don't get to see my online students much, so it's nice to at least.
It says it's disabled.
Disabled. Okay, sorry about that. See if you had any luck on this one. Yeah, there you go. All right, so let me take a picture, okay? So show your smiling faces. Okay, good. And I just want to say, before you guys turn your cameras off, we have been doing this from 2016, way before COVID, this Zoom and all these things. So we were very prepared for this, way before COVID. And one of the biggest regrets I have is when I have online students from California and Ohio and stuff like that, I don't get to meet them. So I just wanted to say, if I've never met you, I want to say, good luck to you. Take care of yourself, and I'm here for you guys. And all my team is here for you, because we take this pretty seriously. I can tell you this. Yesterday after the test was done, we have been working already yesterday evening, and you guys have been getting the answers already, right? So we take this seriously. Work hard for this test. Do not take this lightly, because if I just can't stress the importance what will happen with a good score. Either more scholarships, better admissions, or most importantly, both. So one of my students just from the last semester, spring 2023, just contacted me today. He's taking the December 9th. He has a 27, and he has been offered $14,000 scholarship for an engineering school. But now they told him that if you get 28, it's going to double to 28,000. 1 point, and December 9th is his last chance for that. Think about the pressure. $14,000 for 1 point. And he didn't, yeah. So like, Manoj, can we meet a couple times? Sure. I said, have you been studying? No, since April he has not done anything. He just got the letter yesterday. Friday he got the letter from the school. But 14,000 is a lot of money. And I know this student well. He would need that money. So don't put yourself in that situation. It's a good thing they're contacting you, but you don't want to be in that situation either. Wrap it up soon. Get a good score and wrap it up. Now you can go and turn off your cameras if you want. Get your notes. We're going to start with ACT writing. ACT writing, first things first, will not impact your composite score. Second, not every school needs it, but I strongly recommend at least having ACT writing score. It's last 40 minutes of additional minutes of the test. It's graded from a 2 to 12 scale, and 8 is required for college, called CRI, College Readiness Index. Sounds good? You need 8. You have to know how it is graded. It's pretty interesting. So, your essay is graded by 2 ACT readers. They are high school teachers, they are college professors, different. So, each reader grades it from 1 to 6 scale. So 2 to 12, okay? So let's say this reader gives you a 4, this reader gives you a 5, your score is 4 plus 5 is 9 out of 12, and you're done with your writing portion. Let's say this person gives you 3, let's say this person gives you a 6, now you have a difference of more than 2 points, then the third reader is assigned a complete arbitration score and he grades it. So more than 2 point difference, it goes to the third person to read. They follow what's called a rubric grading system. Rubric grading system, so both readers know how to grade it. At New Horizon, we never had a 12. We had 11, I think only 1. We had few 10s, few 9s. It's not easy. It's not easy to get a 12, 11, or even a 10. It's not that easy. 9 and 8 are easy, possible. I've get a lot of students get a 7, unfortunately. And we had situations. So it's not like it's like slam dunk here, okay? It's not a slam dunk, this one. Gotta put it. One of the biggest issues I'm seeing is handwriting issues. If it goes online, you may not have this problem. If they cannot read it, they cannot grade it. If they cannot grade it, they'll give a lower score. Okay. Make sense? Stop me if you have any questions, okay? So,
what kind of handwriting should we use? Should we use like cursive or something?
no,
Because
legible. That's what they call it as. They should be able to read it. They do not have any requirements other than they should be. If they can read it, great. They usually make a good attempt, I heard. But if it's, I've seen
Can
some.
you repeat what CRI stands for?
College Readiness Index.
Okay, thank you.
So, if you open the test booklet for reading, this is how it's going to look like. So, and I don't want you to write anymore. Put your pencils down and listen up, and then you can take a picture and then write it down later. It's easy. This is important to understand. There are lines here. This indicates grading portion. So this is the region they will grade. The blank is called non-grading portion. That means doesn't matter what you write here, they won't even see it. One student unfortunately started his essay from here and continued to this one, and this portion did not get graded, and he ended up getting a 4. 4 is pretty low. 5 is low. 6, okay. But 5 is low. So non-grading portion, grading portion, and you have to write here. So the prompt is at the top. The prompt is at the top. And then there are 3 boxes here. There are 3 boxes here. And they write it as 1, 2, 3. Listen to this very, very carefully. This 40 minutes will be distributed into 3 things. What we call the 10-20-10 rule. We have created a 10-20-10 rule. Till we work on this one, do not see this box. 1, 2, 3 boxes. Do not read those boxes. Those are called perspective boxes. Do not read those. And I can guarantee it will be a big mistake. Okay? you should read this. So how can you avoid it? We tell students to put their hands on like this, literally, or just literally don't read it. And I'll tell you why later on. So when the writing portion starts, which is 40 minutes, which is plenty of time, the first thing is to read the essay, making sure that the perspective boxes are not read. This 10 minutes should be focused on this section for ideas and analysis. So let me give an example. It happened a couple of years back, or a few years back actually. The question was, should middle school students be allowed to use social media? Okay, that was the question. So, again, they have these boxes. Don't worry about those boxes. But let's put yourself when you're a middle school student and think about it. Okay? Now, if that prompt can be connected to your own experience, then you should focus on writing this as your own experience, which is strongly preferred. If it's nothing to do with you, for example, the other prompt is, does music education be mandatory for high school students for graduation requirement? Okay? May not have experienced that one, so you have to write as third party. So I versus third party is decided by the prompt itself. I repeat, I versus third party depends on the prompt itself. Okay? So you spend your time writing thoughts here and ideas and analysis here on this page. Keywords, key phrases, write it. Don't think about it, write it. That's why you take full 10 minutes to think about the essay. Now, let's say it takes you between 3-4 minutes, 5 minutes to think about it. Now, if you have some clearance about ideas about this prompt, and you have made some discussion, key points and all those things, now read the perspectives 1, 2, 3 boxes. So I repeat, after at least good analysis and ideas, then you want to read the perspective boxes. Now, you may be wondering why you shouldn't be reading that before. If you read the perspective boxes before, you will not have your own self-analysis, and your ideas will be driven by what is already presented here. What should happen is your ideas and analysis should match with one of these boxes. Okay, for example, go back to the social media thing. Let's say I don't want my middle school students to have social media, right? Let's say I want to. So my thing is, you know what? I don't like middle school students to have social media. So here are my reasons, my analysis. Then when I see this, perspective 2 says that no, social media should not be allowed. You see what I'm saying? Your analysis, thought process should match with one of these. If it doesn't match, you're going to have a horrible time writing an essay, because you are thinking completely different than what they're asking you to. You with me on this? You have to select a perspective. Select a perspective. It's a requirement. So I've made it very clear to my students that right here, clearly write down which perspective it is. Spell it out. So I would write it as perspective 2 or number 2 box. So the grader knows what you're thinking. Sounds good? If you're writing for perspective number 2 box, doesn't mean that you have to say all bad things about 1 and 3. But you have to refer one more perspective without belittling the other perspective. You with me on this? So let me repeat. You're talking about 2, you're okay to refer 1 or 3 as a part of your discussion without belittling them. So let's say this box says, yes, social media should be available for middle school students. You can say how stupid it is. You can say that. But you should refer to your strengths and do a comparison basically with the other one. You understand what I'm saying? it's a comparative analysis. It's not about you correct or they're correct. Okay. So that should take you full 10 minutes to clearly get to this point. Your ideas, thoughts, which box. Now you have 20 minutes to write the essay. What are the things you need to be focused on? Extremely important is the flow. Your essay must have flow. We recommend 5 paragraphs, not more than 2 pages. Introduction and conclusion should be obvious and should be strong. Not that the middle 3 should be all BS, okay? But the introduction and conclusion should be strong. So you're gonna write, clear one, first passage, second passage, paragraph, third, fourth, and so forth. Should be clear. And give a gap between first paragraph and second paragraph and so forth. They should know that you have a systematic thinking to your approach. Make sense? Especially if he is a college grade, if a college professor is grading, they lack the structured thinking. And structured thinking has a good flow to it. Next, grammar is extremely important, and conventions. They are what their focus is mainly on this one. Does your story has a flow? Does it have strong grammar? They recommend good vocab words, but it's not required. So don't just shove a vocab word just because you want to use one. It has to be, if you know it and it fits well, sure, then you'll have better point systems. Guys with me? Okay. I'll give you a couple minutes for you to write this first before we continue. Do not use text language. Do not use text language. You guys are especially used to that one. No LOLs and all those things. You trust me, you have done it so much that it's a natural reaction to it. Extremely important I focus is on providing evidence. Providing evidence to your statements. So if you have a good evidence as a part of your essay, you get high credibility. It shouldn't be always you feel, I feel, I feel. If you can give evidence. So, for example, go back to the social media, middle schools. Let's say you have a middle schooler, your brother who is a middle schooler right now, and he is using it, and you can see his grades dropping, right? You can give that as an example, and say, you know what, one of my siblings is a sixth grader in my school system and currently has access to social media. And since he has access to social media, I'm seeing a decline in his concentration. I see a decline in his grade, right? That's what I call evidence. But do not make evidence. You with me on this? They can read between the lines. These are experts people. So if you have, when you're writing as my experience, it has to be a true thing. It cannot be made up. So all these 20 minutes should be focused on writing 5 paragraphs, not more than 2 pages, having the introduction and flow. Oh, I cannot stress this. I just cannot. No, we do a lot of college consultation, right? We do a lot of college consultation. As a part of the college consultation process, we evaluate a lot of essays. I can't even believe how many essays I do evaluate. That's like part of my job right now. What I look is, honestly speaking, yes, grammar and conventions are important for me. At the end of the day, I'm a human being. I would like to read, make them read, right? And for them to read, they have to have a flow. You with me? If they cannot, it doesn't flow well, and there's like, oh my God. Then they start looking for all these errors. I've read some of the, some of our students who write college admission essays. Usually 90% don't do well. They eventually get to us. That's what we are here to help them. But very few have got their first drafts absolutely amazing. Amazing. I feel like reading. If I can make them read, you won the battle. You're allowed to use humor and emotions. You're allowed to use humor and emotions. Don't overdo it. Shouldn't be faked. So let me tell you an example of a college admission essay we worked with. It was she was a student from Bishop Heelan High School, 6-7 years back. She was applying to Notre Dame, and she contacted us with a couple months remaining to help us with the Common App essay. And what I do at that time is we sit with the student and ask them to tell their life story. Just tell me what's going on, how is life. So we worked and worked and worked. And we made an essay. It was so good. She got it, not only she got into Notre Dame, and of course she had a good ACT scores too, by the way. She got $280,000 scholarship to Notre Dame. And the admission officer, when she joined Notre Dame, she went and asked, and they talked that her essay was really, really good. So let me tell you what we did with her essay. So the first line says $12, just says $12, and ... Okay, it was a 650 word essay. And we wrote all the stuff. So the person who was reading wondered always what the $12 was, right? You guys are wondering right now what the $12 was, right? We are human beings. We are always curious. We didn't tell them anywhere till they read the last line. So we made them read the essay. The last line was like, by the way, the $12 I mentioned at the top was how much my mom makes per hour. And by the way, I have 6 siblings. By the way, my mom is divorced. But we made them read it. It was a very sad story, but we converted sad story to a powerful essay. Emotion. Sounds good. But one thing, all this should not lead to a text message language. Don't do that. They absolutely hate it. These are not your generation people, these readers. They're baby boomers, Gen X type of people. So don't do that. Okay. Now, moving on. So you had the ideas, analysis, then you wrote for 20 minutes with structure, with flow, with good organization. I want to use the key word here, which leads to good organization is key. Somebody guess what's the last tense is for?
To review.
Review, look for mistakes. If you cannot read your own essay, good luck asking them to read it. So if you have wrote a 2-page essay, you got to read the 2-page essay, word by word, critiquing yourself and changing as you go. Commas, punctuations, oh, I can't stress enough how important they are. And just don't throw in a comma because you feel good about it. It has to be at the right place. But grammarless essay is a useless essay because that's what they're trying to judge. Review for errors. Review for errors. Spelling. Spelling is key. Spelling, if you don't have good spelling or you made mistaken spelling errors, if you have spelling errors, you're going to lose a lot of points. So if I were to be grading, this is going to get you points. This is going to get you points. This will definitely get you a lot of points. This will get you the maximum points. This will hurt you the most. This will hurt you the most if you have spelling errors. At the end of the day, what I want from a student is, can I read their essay? If they have made me do it, you've won the battle. How many minutes do they take to read an essay? They have around 125,000 essays to evaluate. Of course, there's not the same person. There are other people, just not two. They usually spend around 60 seconds. They're not gonna sit there and read like a novel on a beach. They're gonna do a quick analysis. I've seen people read 2-3 times after because they have liked it so much. They've read it 2-3 times also when they have not had an idea what the hell the person is saying as well. That has happened too. I'm gonna open to discussions now. It used to be 30 minutes, by the way, now it's 40 minutes. And before writing starts, you get a 5 minutes break after science, only 5 minutes break. And you'll be in a designated rooms where all students are taking the writing test.
Are we allowed to use dialogue?
Say that again, sorry.
Are we allowed to use dialogues for like an example or something?
Give me an example. What do you think of as dialogue?
Like the
Oh, okay.
story which you told about the $12. Maybe it was like kind of included dialogue which your mom said or something.
Yeah,
Are we allowed-
yeah. Dialogue should not be the main portion of the essay because it doesn't give you a novelish look to it. But a couple of here and there's dialogues, yes, yeah. But it should be in the middle. It should not be in the introduction. It should not be in the conclusion. It should be right in the middle, and it should be obvious it's a dialogue. By the way, because me, her should be clearly spelled out. But don't drag it. Your essay cannot be a whole dialogue as well. Good question. Next.
Do you take the writing test on like every single ACT test, or is it just once?
What we recommend is if you're taking the ACT for the first time ever, do not take the writing because you're already fried by this time. Adding 40 minutes is horrible. But second time onwards, yes. And if you get an 8 or higher, you're done. Don't try to score 10. Just get an 8. Not that I want you to only get an 8. But I'm telling you, 8 is not that easy either. But if you have 8, you're wrapping it up. Don't. You're done with that. Good questions. Really good. And again, some of the students who joined late should watch the portion they missed actually, because it was an important discussion to begin with this class. Anything else? Let me check my notes just to make sure. I usually have covered all the stuff for.
What if we face some sort of writer's block during the test?
I didn't understand your question.
Like, what if we're like not able to think straight, or like we're just like not able to focus?
That's always going to be there. I would at that time spend a little bit more time on this one than to start writing. Shift maybe 5 minutes here, but yeah, that's always going to be your enemy. Oh, one more thing, I knew I was checking my notes for that reason. One thing I didn't include here, avoid eyes. One of the biggest problems we see in the eyes and me's, especially the introduction, do not start with I. This is a skill. Writing is a skill, right? Not everybody can write well. One of the biggest things we look at, especially in college level, graduate school, PhD levels, when you write any letters, and I write quite a bit as a college president. My vice president. He's an excellent in technical writing, so I always ask him to review it, and we focus on how many I's we write. More I's, less value. Yeah, you can write in such a way that you can avoid it. Still mentioning that you were involved. But avoid eyes. That's the one thing I was checking my notes for. I was like, okay, I'm missing one thing. That was the one. Couple comments I can give you. You should do at least one prompt practice before you take the real ACT writing. So, students who took our practice test yesterday had a writing prompt in it. That's a good one to practice. And you should time yourself to 40 minutes. And how do you grade it? Ask your dad, mom to take a look at it. Say, hey, no, does it good? Critique on that one. But I've had a lot of students. Our range has been between 6 and 10 for a long, long time. But I would just want to say that this is not something like, okay, 8 is like, even though the par is 8 for college, pretty high actually, I would say. It's not that easy.
Could you elaborate a little bit on like what you mean by refer to one other perspective? Like,
so when you're writing, when you have decided a perspective, okay, oh man, I'm picking the perspective number 2 here. During your essays, when you write the essay, you have to refer to one other perspective of why you think your perspective is, why you're supporting your perspective and comparing with the other perspective. Again, as I mentioned, do not condone it, okay? Do not say negative things about it, but say, this is one of the reasons why I did not select perspective 1 as part of your writing. You with me on this? So supporting your perspective by referring to other perspective but not condoning it. And that's, you have to do it. It's a requirement, okay? So having the perspective number mentioned is a requirement for grading. And referring to another perspective is also a requirement. It doesn't have to be lines or somewhere you have to mention that, hey, by the way, looking at perspective number 3, here's the reason why I support my own perspective compared to 3. That's all you have to do. And a couple lines here and there, that's all it is. But don't spend too much time on comparison all the way through. Okay, your essay should be your essay, not a comparative analysis. This is not a comparative analysis. One line to compare here and there is okay, but not the entire thing. Good questions. All right, so before we conclude the class, the semester, the program, we in the past, before COVID, we used to send a survey form and all these things. We have stopped doing that. It has become difficult. What I always have done for the last now a good 4 years plus now, is ask students to give you their feedback on the last day. I know I can do the WhatsApp poll and everything, but I just want to directly hear from online students, especially who have not seen, how did we do, and what are the things we need to improve on. So anybody, open field, don't want to spend too much time on this. Good things also as well. If there is good things, please tell us. If there's not so good things, tell us. But I really want to hear from you guys as part of this. That's how we have been improving over the years.
I like the strategies, like the reading code, and then how you showed us, like how to do the passages for science. That really helped.
Good. I can't stress enough. If you have practiced the selection of the passages, it's a big deal. Yeah. Again, anything good, bad, just want to hear from you. Never got a chance.
I really liked how you broke down each section and very went into detail and explaining how each section goes, and I think that's something that really helped me understand how ACT works.
Yeah, and knowing what to expect that day way before and practiced these are again competitive exams, right? So you have to be prepared. So yeah, English, math, 15 minutes break. Check for how many minutes they gonna give it. They rules wise they have to give 15 minutes, but sometimes they don't. So then is reading and science. Another thing I want to comment on this one: do not stop the test. Yesterday I saw a couple of students, especially in math and science, they were done and they just put the test and they just sat like this. Why? Use every minute, right? Even if you're done, just review some of the questions you're not sure of. Don't waste your time. This is crucial time. Every second matters. Good. Anything else? How about face-to-face? Yeah, go ahead, please.
I really liked how you went into the time management portion because I was really struggling with that. But I think from the next time it would be a bit helpful if we did more of the full tone practice tests, like the one which we did yesterday.
We used to do 5. We used to do the 5 till about 2015. We used to do 5 in a semester. Unfortunately, I have a family with 2 kids, and it's just I only do one only for April and December. It's very hard for me to do it, and these tests are not easily available on the market. We hardly can get a hold of even one, and we got hold of this one, and we paid a lot, this company, but I know this has been asked many times, and I'm hoping to do 2 starting next fall. Maybe we're going to do a midterm and a fall, and we're going to make it as a part of the class itself, not as an option. We don't want to give that as an option because that is so important, the full practice test. Good. How about face-to-face students? Comments?
I think what we went over in the English and he would give us the common rules and stuff, and by going over that, I kind of just felt more confident going in and stuff, and it was way easier. Probably the easiest part of the test.
Good. So we had 4 instructors: myself, Aubrey, who did math, Rikav did English, and Lily did reading. Which had the most punch effect for you guys? Which one had the most impact for you? Everybody's different. Which one had the most impact? Who taught? I don't want to say who taught better right now. Which had the most impact for you?
I would say Rukov because it's easiest for me to break down rules and identify them, whereas specific problems that I have to kind of fully understand.
Good. English for you then. Okay. How about online students? Which one had the most impact?
I thought you taught the best because you put more details into each example, and I liked how you talked about your
your past students and their experiences and their problems and how you fix them?
And that happened only because you guys were interacting a little bit more than last semester. And it happened really well for advanced class. Again, this is why we always say, and when you ask a question, it's not about answering that question, it's about bringing everything else. Remember, 16 years of doing this, right? I've seen it all. There's nothing left. But I can volunteer that information. It has to be triggered by a question. That's why I felt in the advanced level, more questions were asked, so I had more conversation with them based on experiences. Even when you go to college, your intent should not be just to ask a question. Your intent, if there is a good question, you have to ask. A professor will add his juice to it, and okay, you know what? This is what can happen. This can happen. So I really believe lack of questions will hurt you more than us. But thank you. Thanks. Again, as I said, I've taught college for 21 years, here 17 years. Teaching has become a part of my life, so it's bread and butter. So, but still, always can learn.
I think you and Aubrey were really good because it was really well informed, and I was able to understand a lot of the stuff that you guys said.
Good. Aubrey is also a high school teacher. We hired her 3 years back. She's focused mainly on geometry topics, and very good addition. She won the last year Tutor of the Year award last year at New Horizon. Very caring, very, very caring she is. One of the things I always train my employees, especially the ACT tutors, is just not the material. Material, they're good at it. It's easy for them. But how much to care? And if you don't care, you cannot be a teacher. It shows. If you go into any academia, if you don't care, don't go into academia. It's a very caring job. And I said, we have students from 22 different states, 23 different states right now who have taken our program. And I feel there's a reason why they chose us. So, anything else? Any final comments to icing on the cake? Anybody want to take the last one?
I would say I appreciate the focus on what our test experience will be like versus just going over problems we'll see. If that makes more sense.
Explain to me. Test experience as in?
As what the test, the layout, how we want to kind of feel going into it.
Yeah.
The
pre-preparation, the preparation, and you'll see that when I send you the message, it's going to say pre-ACT preparation requirements. And for me, I'm most obsessed about that. Some students are not. They're like, yeah, whatever. And I don't worry about those students. I worry about students who have the intent to do well. I don't believe in laissez-faire attitude. I believe in, okay, you know what? I'm going to put the efforts. I expect my students to do the efforts. That's all I can try. But I just want to say, first of all, let me wrap this up. It's been an honor and a pleasure to teach you all. As I said, I've been doing this for so long. Every single time I'm very grateful for the opportunity, even though it's hard for me as I age. Sometimes I wonder why I'm doing this, but wake up next day and back to working. I want to say good luck on the December 9th test. Please text me how it goes. I'll be very, very eager to wait. Next, I want to say, do well at school. Grades really matter when you go, and I'm here for you. Some of our students who have done our classes 10, 15 years back, they have done PhDs, they are still in contact with me. So why? Because they know I care. So if you have any issues, run it by me. I'm here to help you. Good luck at school. Good luck at the test. Have a safe break. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. And you know what? At the end of the day, have the intent to do well. Have a great night. Bye-bye. See you guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Take care of yourself.